used to clean toilets. I mean, I cleaned a lot of toilets. I've cleaned more toilets than all of you combined. CEO should have the most direct reports by definition, because the people that reports to the CEO requires the least amount of management. It makes no sense to me that CEOs have so few people reporting to them.
You've had to steer the company through some very challenging times, like when it lost 80% of its market cap amid the financial crisis because Wall Street didn't believe in your bet on ML. In times like these, how do you steer the company and keep the employees motivated at the task at hand?
My reaction during that time is the same reaction I had about this week. Earlier today, you asked me about this week. My pulse was exactly the same. This week is no different than last week or the week before that. And so the opposite of that, when you drop 80%, don't get me wrong. When your share price drops 80%, it's a little embarrassing, okay? And you just want to wear a T-shirt that says "wasn't my fault." But even more than that, you just don't want to get out of your bed. You don't want to leave the house. All of that is true. All of that is true. But then you go back to just doing your job. I woke up at the same time, prioritize my day in the same way. I go back to what do I believe? You got to gut check, always gut check back to the core. What do you believe? What are the most important things? And just check them off. Sometimes it's helpful to, family loves me. Okay, check. Double check. Right? And so you just got to check it off, and you go back to your core, and then go back to work. And then every conversations go back to the core. Keep the company focused back on the core. Do you believe in it? Did something change? The stock price changed, but did something else change? Did physics change? Did gravity change? Did all of the things that we assumed, that we believed, that led to our decision, did any of those things change? Because if those things change, you got to change everything. But if none of those things change, you change nothing. Keep on going. Yeah. That's how you do it.
In speaking with your employees, they say that
and try to avoid the public.
In speaking with your employees, they've said that your leadership
including the employees. I'm just kidding. No, leaders have to be seen. Unfortunately, that's the hard part. I was an electrical engineering student, and I was quite young when I went to school. When I went to college, I was still 16 years old, and so I was young when I did everything, and so I was a bit of an introvert. I'm kind of I'm shy. I don't enjoy public speaking. I'm delighted to be here. I'm not suggesting, but it's not something that I do naturally, and so when things are challenging, it's not easy to be in front of precisely the people that you care most about, and the reason for that is because could you imagine a company meeting our stock price just dropped by 80%, and the most important thing I have to do as the CEO is this: to come and face you, explain it, and partly you're not sure why, partly you're not sure how long, how bad. You just don't know these things, but you still gotta explain it. Face all these people, and you know what they're thinking. Some of them are probably thinking we're doomed. Some people are probably thinking you're an idiot, and some people are probably thinking something else. And so there are a lot of things that people are thinking, and you know that they're thinking those things, but you still have to get in front of them and deal, do the hard work.
They may be thinking of those things, but yet not a single person of your leadership team left during times like this. And in
They're
fact,
unemployable. That's what I keep reminding them. I'm just kidding. I'm surrounded by geniuses. Yeah, other geniuses, unbelievable. NVIDIA is well known to have singularly the best management team on the planet. This is the deepest technology management team the world's ever seen. I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of them, and they're just geniuses. Business teams, marketing teams, sales teams, just incredible. Engineering teams, research teams, unbelievable. Yeah.
Your employees say that your leadership style is very engaged. You have 50 direct reports. You encourage people across all parts of the organization to send you the top 5 things on their mind. And you constantly remind people that no task is beneath you. Can you tell us why you've purposefully designed such a flat organization? And how should we be thinking about our organizations that we design in the future?
No task is, to me, no task is beneath me, because remember, I used to be a dishwasher, and I mean that. And I used to clean toilets. I mean, I cleaned a lot of toilets. I've cleaned more toilets than all of you combined. and some of them just can't unsee. I don't know what to tell you. That's life. And so you can't show me a task that's beneath me. Now I'm not doing it only because of whether it's beneath me or not beneath me. If you send me something and you want my input on it, and I can be of service to you, and in my review of it, share with you how I reasoned through it, I've made a contribution to you. I've made it possible for you to see how I reason through something, and by reasoning, as you know, how someone reasons through something empowers you. You go, oh my gosh, that's how you reason through something like this. It's not as complicated as it seems. This is how you reason through something that's super ambiguous. This is how you reason through something that's incalculable. This is how you reason through something that seems to be very scary. This is how you seem, do you understand? And so I show people how to reason through things all the time. Strategy things, how to forecast something, how to break a problem down, and you're empowering people all over the place. And so that's how I see it. If you send me something, you want me to help review it, I'll do my best, and I'll show you how I would do it. In the process of doing that, of course, I learned a lot from you. Is that right? You gave me the seed of a lot of information. I learned a lot. And so I feel rewarded by the process. It does take a lot of energy sometimes, because you got, in order to add value to somebody, and they're incredibly smart as a starting point, and I'm surrounded by incredibly smart people, you have to at least get to their plane, You have to get into their headspace. And that's really hard. That's really hard. And that takes just an enormous amount of emotional and intellectual energy. And so I feel exhausted after I work on things like that. I'm surrounded by a lot of great people. A CEO should have the most direct reports by definition, because the people that reports to the CEO requires the least amount of management. It makes no sense to me that CEOs have so few people reporting to them, except for one fact that I know to be true. The knowledge, the information of a CEO is supposedly so valuable, so secretive, you can only share it with 2 other people, or 3. And their information is so invaluable, so incredibly secretive, that they can only share it with a couple more. Well, I don't believe in a culture and environment where the information that you possess is the reason why you have power. I would like us all to contribute to the company, and our position in the company should have something to do with our ability to reason through complicated things, lead other people to achieve greatness, inspire, empower other people, support other people. Those are the reasons why the management team exists, in service of all of the other people that work in the company, to create the conditions by which all of these amazing people who volunteer to come work for you instead of all of the other amazing high-tech companies around the world, they volunteer to work for you. And so you should create the conditions by which they could do their life's work, which is my mission. You probably heard it. I've said that pretty clearly, and I believe that. What my job is very simply to create the conditions by which you could do your life's work. And so how do I do that? What does that condition look like? Well, that condition should result in a great deal of empowerment. You can only be empowered if you understand the circumstance, isn't that right? You have to understand the context of the situation you're in order for you to come up with great ideas. And so I have to create a circumstance where you understand the context, which means you have to be informed. And the best way to be informed is for there to be as little layers of information mutilation, right, between us. And so that's the reason why it's very often that I'm reasoning through things like in an audience like this. I say, first of all, this is the beginning facts. These are the data that we have. This is how I would reason through it. These are some of the assumptions. These are some of the unknowns. These are some of the knowns. And so you reason through it. And now you've created an organization that's highly empowered. NVIDIA has 30,000 people. We're the smallest large company in the world. We're a tiny little company. But every employee is so empowered, and they're making smart decisions on my behalf every single day. And the reason for that is because, they understand my condition. They understand my condition. I'm very transparent with people. And I believe that I can trust you with the information. Oftentimes the information is hard to hear, and the situations are complicated, but I trust that you can handle it. A lot of people hear me say, you're adults here. You can handle this. Sometimes they're not really adults. They just graduated. I'm just kidding. I know that when I first graduated, I was barely an adult, and I was fortunate that I was trusted with important information. So I want to do that. I want to create the conditions for people to do that.